If your outcome is money, you will statistically do better at the industry where there are least amount of passionate people. The more boring your business, the likelihood of you making money is higher.
And that's where the story truly begins. We grow up listening to the same advice. Follow your passion, chase your dream, do what you love. It sounds beautiful, it feels inspiring. But when you look at the cold numbers, the survival rate of this passion-driven industry tells a very, very different story. The restaurant business, for example, 9 out of 10 don't even last beyond 3 years. A movie industry, for example, big loss, like with only handful of blockbusters supporting thousands of failed projects. Fashion labels, cafe, music, startups, all crowded with the people who want to be noticed, admired, and celebrated. But what happened when thousands of equally passionate people fight for the same small slice of pie? The odds crush you. And that is why, as Nikhil Kamath put it, if money is your outcomes, the safer bet is always on the businesses where passion is absent. Businesses that are too dull, too boring, too ordinary for ordinary people to even think about. They bet on what was steady, predictable, and frankly unsexy. Insurance, retail, furniture, candy, things people use every single day without even a thinking. See, while the world was distracted by a glamorous invention, they compounded wealth in a shadow, slowly, silently, and on a scale that makes even a tech mogul looks fragile. Take a trip with me to a little town in China called Dating. You have never heard of it. It doesn't appear in a glossy travel magazine or startup pitch desk. And yet, this one town produces a third of the world's socks. Billions of them every single year, statistically speaking. If you pick any 3 socks from your cupboard, one of them almost certainly came from Dating. World calls it Sock Cities. But you will never see the founder of these factory on the cover of Forbes. You will never hear them giving TED Talks or going viral on a LinkedIn. Still, year by year, Sock Cities generate billions in revenue, quietly, consistently, and predictably. And it proves a powerful point. The most ordinary product can create the most extraordinary wealth if you are willing to focus on them without letting your ego get in the way. Because that's a hidden enemy in business. Ego. Ego whisper that you should build the next Apple, the next Tesla, the next OpenAI. Ego makes you chase status, fame, taliyan. But ego is also reason most people ignore businesses that actually works. Nobody brag at the party about owning a garbage collection company. Nobody introduced themselves as a king of portable toilets. And yet these exact businesses print money while the rest of the world scroll TikTok looking for the next shiny startup idea. Warren Buffett understood this long before anyone else. He's the king of boring. While Silicon Valley celebrated disruptions, Buffett quietly built an empire on stability. He created Geico Insurance, a company that collects premium upfront and pays out later. A business model that churns out cash without noise. He bought Nebraska Furniture Mart, which sells sofas, tables, bed, etc. No futuristic gadget, no AI, no robotic, just furniture. He bought See's Candies, a simple chocolate company. Nothing revolutionary, but reliable. People bought chocolate for Christmas, Valentine's Day, birthday, or simply because they want a treat. Year after year, box after box, Candy Seas have poured cash into Berkshire Hathaway's account. Buffett even bet on Coca-Cola, which at its core isn't a soda brand but a distribution empire that delivers sugar water to every corner of the planet with ruthless efficiency. And here is the irony. Buffett has never hidden his strategy. Every year in his shareholders letter, he explains exactly how he invests and why. Yet very few people follows his path. Why? Because it's boring. Because it requires patience, because it doesn't feed the ego. Buffett himself once said that the biggest advantage he has is not intelligence, but temperament. He's okay with being underestimated. He's okay with looking boring. And that's why he wins. This obsession with glamour in business is what I call a peacock trap. In nature, peacock's giant, colorful tail is actually a disadvantage. Heavy, costly, and making the bird slower to escape the predators. But peacock grows it anyway because the tail is a status signal. It says, look at me, I'm strong enough to carry this burden. Humans aren't just different. When entrepreneurs flash luxury car or launch flashy startups, it's the same thing, a display, a signal. But unlike in nature, in businesses, those flashy signals usually hide terrible fundamentals. It looks like a success, but underneath, it's fragile. Meanwhile, boring businesses don't signal anything. They don't shine, they don't shout. They just compound cash day after day. And because no one talks about them, the competition stays lower. Trash collection, pest control, plumbing, septic tank service, logistic cleaning services, these industries don't vanish with trend. They don't collapse when Instagram algorithm changes. They are built on needs, not want. And needs never go away. Think of Paul Akers, a founder of FastCap. His company makes woodworking accessories, tools and parts that most of us will never even notice. Yet this invisible company grew into global manufacturing success. Today, Paul runs his business from his iPhone while traveling the world, teaching others about efficient system. He's living the life people dreams about, but it was paid for by the kind of boring businesses most people would diminish without a second thought. That's a paradox. A boring business doesn't give you boring life. In fact, it gives you freedom. The YouTube studio, the mountain climbing, the dream home, the ability to travel to pursue passion project, all of that become possible because your boring business funded. Cash flow first, passion later. So maybe it's time to reframe how we look at success. Maybe the winner of the next decade won't be the flashy unicorn but a quiet operators. The people who buy the trucks, own the water tank, rent the toilets, manage the waste, clean the carpet, supply the uniform. They won't trend on Twitter, they won't be glamorous, but they will be the one buying the building we live in while we're still scrolling for the next hype. And that's the part nobody tell you. The boring businesses are still out there, waiting for someone's humble to grab them. The question is, will it be you?
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the